All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're stepping straight into the cockpit of the Bombardier Q400 to master the exact step-by-step procedure for handling a highly critical flight situation, an aileron trim runaway. Look, when you're at the controls and the aircraft suddenly starts rolling uncommanded because the trim has a mind of its own, there is absolutely zero time to casually flip through a flight manual. You need this to be pure muscle memory.
Here's a quick look at our roadmap for this explainer. We're covering 1. The Q400 trim runaway. 2. Step 1. Reduce airspeed. 3. Step 2. Opposite trim. 4. Step 3. Pull the breaker. 5. The pointer indication note. And finally, 6. Tricks for effortless memory. Let's hit it.
Starting with Section 1, the Q400 trim runaway, the emergency sequence. Okay, so here are the exact 3 sequential steps mandated in the manual to secure the aircraft during an aileron trim runaway. Step 1, airspeed reduce. Step 2, aileron trim opposite. Step 3, pull CB, which stands for circuit breaker. That's the whole sequence. 3 little lines on paper, right? But in the absolute chaos of an emergency, nailing these in this precise, unalterable order is literally what saves the aircraft.
Moving to Section 2. Step 1. Reduce airspeed. The immediate reaction.
So the very second this runaway happens, your absolute first instinct has to be simply reducing your airspeed. Why? Well, think about it. An aileron trim runaway is basically a flight control surface going completely rogue against your wishes. By pulling the power back and shedding that airspeed, you're instantly taking the aerodynamic pressure off the airframe. You are buying yourself precious time and making the whole aircraft physically easier to wrestle with. Never, ever skip this. Reduce airspeed first.
Next up, Section 3. Step 2, opposite trim, counteracting the runaway.
All right, once that airspeed is safely reduced and the aerodynamic forces are a bit more manageable, we have to immediately physically fight the trim itself. You've got to input the aileron trim opposite to the direction of the runaway. If the runaway is trying to force the plane into a left roll, you trim right. You are actively, deliberately commanding the system to fight that malfunction. This prompt, direct action is exactly what stops the aircraft from getting into an extreme, dangerous attitude.
On to Section 4. Step 3. Pull the breaker. The conditional decision.
Now here's the catch. Step 3 isn't just some blind automatic reaction. It's a conditional decision. It requires analyzing exactly what's happening. You're holding that opposite trim. Your airspeed is down. But when exactly are you supposed to reach down and yank that circuit breaker? Because timing here is everything.
Well, the manual gives us a crystal clear decision matrix. You only move to this final step when the trim actually reaches the neutral position, or if you find out the trim actuator cannot be reversed. So you're glued to those trim indicators. The exact millisecond the trim fights its way back to neutral, boom, that's your trigger. Or on the flip side, if you try applying opposite trim and realize the actuator is completely jammed and just won't reverse, that's your backup trigger. You only proceed to step 3 when one of these 2 specific things happens.
Okay, so the condition is met. Where exactly does your hand need to go? You have to locate the AIL Trim Act circuit breaker. That stands for Aileron Trim Actuator. Where is it? It's right on the left lower clob panel. More specifically, you are aiming for grid position G8, and you pull it. Popping that specific breaker at G8 completely kills the electrical power to the runaway actuator. It isolates the problem, and just like that, you've got manual control over the aircraft back in your hands.
Now Section 5. The pointer indication note, decoding the instruments.
So the manual actually has a very specific note defining your panel indications here. It says the aileron trim LWD, meaning left wing down, pointer will show the full up position, while the RWD, or right wing down, pointer will show the full down position. Now, reading that dried text from a manual can feel super counterintuitive when you're sweating in an emergency, right? That's exactly why we need a mental shortcut to interpret this instantly. Which brings us to Section 6, Tricks for Effortless Memory, Locking It In. Let's make this totally foolproof. First, memorize the acronym ROP. This is your anchor for the 3 operational steps. ROP. First, you R, reduce airspeed. Then you O, apply opposite trim. And finally, under those specific conditions we just talked about, you P, pull the breaker. Reduce, opposite, pull. When the alarms are blaring and the yoke is fighting you, you do not have time to visualize a manual page. You just need to ROP it. And what about that tricky instrument note? To effortlessly memorize that without a shred of confusion, just tell yourself, left lifts, right rests. It's that simple.
It perfectly connects the LWD pointer to the up position because it lifts, and the RWD pointer to the down position because it rests. Left lifts, right rests. By linking these visual words, you completely eliminate the chance of misreading your panel when the pressure is on.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? The next time you strap into the Bombardier Q400, are you going to have this precise sequence locked and loaded? Will you be ready to instantly reduce, opposite, and pull when every single second counts? Keep ROP and left lifts, right rest front of mind, visualize reaching down for position G8 on that lower left panel, and you will absolutely be ready to master the Aileron trim runaway, safely and efficiently.